Imagine a world where energy is as free and wireless as Wi-Fi. You'd never have to think about an electricity bill ever again. This isn't some far-off futuristic dream. It was Nikola Tesla's grand plan over 100 years ago. It makes you wonder, what if he had actually succeeded? Tesla was so much more than just a genius behind the alternating current system that powers our world today. His most ambitious project, his magnum opus, was the Wardenclyffe Tower. This wasn't just another building. It was a gigantic, awe-inspiring structure designed to transmit electricity through the very earth and atmosphere, completely eliminating the need for cables. His vision was bold and simple: to provide clean, abundant energy to any point on the globe, for everyone. Think about it, a global wireless power grid. Tesla had the science figured out. He believed he could use the Earth's own resonant frequency to send power from one point to another with minimal loss. The tower was the first step, a broadcast station for a new age of energy. Construction began, and the colossal structure started to take shape in Shoreham, Long Island. The world was on the cusp of an energy revolution that would have dwarfed the Industrial Revolution. But then, reality hit. His primary financier, the powerful banker J.P. Morgan, had a moment of realization. It was a simple, yet devastating question. How do you put a meter on something that's free for everyone? How do you charge for energy that's just in the air, available to anyone with a receiver? The business model simply wasn't there. Morgan, an astute businessman, saw no clear path to profit. For him, it was a philanthropic endeavor, not a sound investment. The funding was abruptly cut. Tesla, despite his desperate pleas and unwavering belief in his project, was left without resources. His dream, the magnificent Wardenclyffe Tower, stood as a monument to what could have been, until it was ultimately demolished in 1917 to pay off his debts. A heartbreaking end to a visionary project. But let's pause for a moment and rewind the clock. Let's imagine a different history. What if J.P. Morgan had seen beyond the immediate profits? What if he had shared Tesla's vision and funded the project to its completion? What would our world look like today? First and foremost, the concept of energy inequality would be a relic of the past. Think of the most remote, isolated villages in the heart of Africa or the deepest parts of the Amazon rainforest. They would have had instant access to electricity. This isn't just about turning on a light bulb. It's about powering hospitals, schools, and local industries. Access to energy would have spurred education, dramatically improved healthcare, and fostered economic development on a global scale, bridging the gap between developed and developing nations decades, or even a century, earlier. The geopolitical landscape would be completely unrecognizable. The immense power and influence held by oil-rich nations would be significantly diminished. The 20th century was largely defined by conflicts and political maneuvering over energy resources. The scramble for oil has shaped borders, toppled governments, and cost countless lives. In a world of free wireless energy, many of these wars might never have happened. The very foundation of global power politics would have been built on something other than fossil fuels. Technological advancement would have accelerated at a pace we can barely comprehend. Electric vehicles wouldn't be a 21st century innovation. They would have been the norm from the very beginning of the automotive age. Imagine classic old-fashioned cars gliding silently and efficiently, powered wirelessly. Airplanes could recharge mid-flight. Our cities would look entirely different. They would be cleaner, quieter, and aesthetically more pleasing without the visual clutter of endless power lines, poles, and substations. Architectural designs could be freer and more integrated with nature. And what about the internet? The very backbone of our modern information age relies on a massive physical infrastructure of undersea cables, data centers, and power grids. In Tesla's world, the internet could have emerged in a completely different form. Perhaps it would have developed as a global wireless data network, piggybacking on the same energy transmission system. Information like energy could have been a freely accessible utility from the start, fundamentally changing how we communicate and share knowledge. When you piece it all together, Tesla's world would have been a more connected, cleaner, and profoundly more egalitarian place. Energy would have ceased to be a commodity to be bought and sold. It would have been a fundamental human right, as essential and accessible as the air we breathe. It's staggering to think that a single decision by one man, a choice to cut funding based on profitability, may have delayed human progress by a full century, if not more. This alternate history forces us to look at our present and ask a crucial question. What other revolutionary technologies, what other world-changing ideas, might be sitting on a shelf today? What incredible advancements are being held back simply because they don't fit into our current economic models or offer immediate, quantifiable profit? It's a powerful thought, and it reminds us that the future is not just about what we can invent, but also about what we choose to build. Thanks for watching.